Dear students, welcome to the lecture number 6 of biopharmaceutics and pharmacokinetic. The topic for today's lecture is factors influencing the drug absorption through GIT part 3. Okay. I have taken 2 lectures on this topic previously on the factors influencing drug absorption. In the first lecture, I have discussed about the drug solubility and dissolution, the theories of dissolution. In the second lecture, in the part 2, I have discussed about the other factors, particle size, surface area, salt form of the drug, pseudopolymorphism, polymorphism, the drug stability, and most important pH partition hypothesis. Okay. Now, this lecture will deal with the pharmacotechnical factors or the dosage form related factors that can affect the dissolution or that can affect the drug absorption and ultimately the bioavailability of the drug substance. Okay. Now, the first factor that is related to the dosage form that can affect the drug absorption is disintegration time, second is the dissolution time, third manufacturing variable, fourth is the pharmaceutical ingredients, next nature and type of dosage form, next is the product age and storage conditions. Okay. So, first factor is the disintegration time. So, as I have told you previously, whenever a solid drug substance or a solid dosage form is administered, firstly it have to go it has to go through different processes. The first process will be the disintegration. After disintegration, there will be deaggregation, and the after deaggregation, the drug particle will convert into the finer particles, and after that it will get dissolved, and in the another step it will get partitioned across the biological membrane. Okay. So, the prerequisite requirement or the important parameter is the disintegration. So, so rapid disintegration is very important to have the rapid absorption. Okay. So, the lower disintegration time is required for the faster absorption. Okay. So, when we talk about the tablet, in case of tablet, the disintegration time of the tablet is directly proportional to the amount of binder present and the compression force of the tablet. Higher the amount of binder in the tablet preparation, more will be binding in that tablet and more will be the hardness. Okay. And if hardness is more, the disintegration time obviously be more. Okay. So, and the compression force also affect the disintegration time. If we apply the higher compression force, because of this more compression force, the tablet will get more hardened and it will have the greater disintegration time. Okay. So, next is the manufacturing or processing variables. Okay. So, the drug dissolution is the single most important factor in the absorption of the drug, especially when we talk about the tablet, capsule, tablet or capsules. Okay. So, the dosage form related factors are there which can affect the dissolution. That includes the types of excipient, okay, and the manufacturing processes. Okay. In the manufacturing processes, there are several manufacturing process that can influence the drug dissolution and the absorption process. Okay. So, there are two main factors, that first is the method of granulation and second one is the compression force. First one is the method of granulation and second one is the compression force. Okay. So, we can prepare tablet by granulation technique. In conventional dosage form, the tablet was prepared using the wet granulation method, in which solvent was incorporated. Okay. So, and it was thought that the tablets which are prepared by using the wet granulation method are dissolved faster than that made by the other techniques. Okay. but the wet granulation methods is having certain limitation. The first limitation was the formation of the crystal breezes because of the presence of the liquid, okay. And the second was the liquid sometimes may act as a medium for the chemical reaction because of the presence of liquid, or if because of the presence, if the liquid is the aqueous liquid, then hydrolysis can also be there. And if drying step is there, because of this drying step sometimes thermolabile drug can get degraded, okay. So, because of these limitations the tablets can be produced by direct compression method also, okay. So, in this way the method of granulation is affecting the drug dissolution. Now, next is the compression force. So, whatever compression or whatever force we are applying during the punching of the tablet will affect the drug dissolution. How? Because if we apply higher compression force, because of the higher compression force the drug particle will get intensely packed, and because of this compact packing the more harder tablet will be formed, and as the tablet is more harder the more time it will take to get disintegrate and more time it will take to get dissolved, okay. And more time it will take for the dissolution, slower will be the absorption process, okay. So, this compression force when we when we plot a curve between the rate of drug dissolution and the compression force, we can have 4 different types of possibilities, okay. When we plot the graph between the rate of drug dissolution and the compression force, rate of dissolution and compression force, we can have 4 different possibilities, 1, 2, 3 and 4, okay. First possibility is A, it is B, C and D. In first possibility we will obtain a curve like this, in the second one we will obtain like this, in the third we will obtain a curve like this, in the fourth we will obtain a curve like this. These are the 4 possibilities that we get when we plot rate of drug dissolution versus compression force, okay. In the first possibility it is explaining that in the A curve, higher the compression force, if we apply higher compression force, as the compression force is increasing, due to this increase in the compression force density will also increase, because of this hardness of the tablet will increase, more tablet will harder, there will be decrease in the porosity. If porosity is less in the formulation, then its wettability will be reduced, and if its wettability is reduced, due to this there will be less contact of the drug substance or with the less contact of the dosage form with the medium, and it will take more time to get disintegrate, okay. And more time it will get to disintegrate, more time it will take for the dissolution also, okay. So, there will be less dissolution. So, as the compression force is increasing, the rate of drug dissolution is also increasing in case of first possibility, that is the A curve. If we talk about this B curve, in this case when we apply the higher compression force, because of this higher compression force the drug substance that is inside the dosage form, that will get deformed or crack or fracture can occur in that, okay. And because of this deformation or cracking or fracture, the drug particle will get converted into the disc shaped particle, and because of this effective surface area will get increased, okay. Suppose this was the spherical particle, and when compression force is applied on that, it will be converted into disc shape. If it is converted into the disc shape, it will have more effective surface area, it will be in more contact with the dissolution medium. So, it will get at a faster, it will dissolve at a faster rate. So, in case of B curve, as we apply the higher compression force, the rate of drug dissolution will be increased. Okay. And when we combine the A and B possibility, we can have two another possibilities, that is the C and D. Okay. In the C, firstly the rate of drug dissolution is decreasing, after a point it will start increasing. In the D, firstly the rate of drug dissolution is increasing, and after reaching a point it will again decrease. Okay. These are the different possibilities that we get depending upon the compression force. So, this is all about the tablet. This is applicable in case of tablet. When we talk about the capsule, in case of capsule, the intensity of the filling into the capsule is most important. Okay. If the filling that is filled into the capsule shell, if that compact is highly compact, if higher compression force is there, due to that it can be resulted in the bursting of the capsule shell, and if capsule shell burst, the drug will be automatically released into the dissolution medium, means the faster will be the dissolution. Okay. And sometimes opposite can also happens, means the drug cannot get easily released. In that case, the rate of drug dissolution will be less. Okay. So, this is the effect of manufacturing or processing variable on the drug absorption. Now, we discuss about the formulation factors. Okay. So, formulation factors include, in case of formulation, we are having excipients or adjuvants apart them the API, that is the active pharmaceutical ingredients. So, these adjuvants can also affect the properties of the dosage form. Okay. So, the formulation factors include vehicle, diluents, binder and granulating agent, disintegrants, lubricant and anti-frictional agent, coating, suspending agent, viscosity imparters, surfactants, buffers, complexing agent, colorants, precipitation or crystal growth inhibitors. Okay. So, these are the formulation related factors that can affect the drug dissolution, and ultimately they will affect the absorption of the drug. Okay. So, first is the vehicle. Three types of vehicle can be used in the formulations. First is the aqueous. In aqueous vehicle, water or syrup can be used. Second is the water miscible vehicle, and third one is the water immiscible. In case of water miscible vehicle, propylene glycol will be there, that can also act as a co-solvent, and in the water immiscible vehicle, vegetable soil will be there. Okay. So, the vehicle that is having the vehicle that can dissolve the more number of drug or the more amount of the drug will be that will be producing the higher bioavailability. Okay. So, the drug that is having more solubility in which in the respective vehicle, that will be absorbed at a faster rate. Okay. So, water miscible vehicle will get the best result. Okay. Next is the diluents or the fillers. These diluents are also known as the fillers. Why these are called as the fillers? Because they are providing the bulkiness. They are used for filling the they are used for making bulk in the dosage form. Okay. So, these diluents are of two types. These can be organic in nature or these can be inorganic in nature. In case of example of organic diluents, carbohydrates like starch, lactose or microcrystalline cellulose can be used, and these are hydrophilic in nature, and if they are combined with the dosage form, they can increase the solubility of the drug substance also. Okay. In case of inorganic diluents, the example is the calcium diphosphate, okay, sorry, dicalcium phosphate, that is the DCP, and this dicalcium phosphate is having interaction with some drug substances, for example tetracycline. If dicalcium phosphate is combined with the tetracycline, there can be the formation of a complex, divalent cation complex, and this complex will be poorly soluble, and because of the poor solubility, this complex will remain unabsorbable. Okay. Now, next is the binders and the granulating agent. Now, what is the significance of the binder? Why binders are added into the dosage form? These binders are added to make the compact, to bind the particles, to impart the cohesiveness into the drug particles. Okay. If the concentration of binder is more in the dosage form, the more hardness will be imparted in the dosage form. Okay. If in case of tablet, if the binder concentration is higher, the tablet will become more, the tablet will be having more hardness, and if the tablet is hard, the disintegration time will be more and the drug dissolution time will also increase. So, absorption will be slower. Next is the disintegrants. Okay. So, what is the purpose of disintegrants? As the name indicates, these are the substances which are used to break the cohesive strength among the particles. Okay. Binders are added to impart the cohesiveness, and disintegrants are added to break this cohesiveness. Okay. To disintegrate the solid dosage form or to disintegrate the tablets into the smaller drug particles. Okay. So, next is the lubricants or anti-frictional agent. Now, what is the function of lubricants or anti-frictional agent? These lubricants or anti-frictional agents are added in the formulation to provide the flow property, to help in the flow properties, okay, to reduce the friction between the dies and punches, okay, to reduce the sticking of the drug particle to the punches and to the dies. And these lubricants cannot be simultaneously mixed with the disintegrant into the dosage form. Whenever we are mixing the disintegrant, at the same time lubricants should not be added into the mixture, okay, because if at the same time these two are added, the lubricant will form a covering around the disintegrant layer, okay, and they will reduce the wetting. Because of this reduced wetting, the drug substance cannot get disintegrate. Okay. So, the lubricants are added at the final stage before the compression, okay, before the compression step. Next is the coating. This coating is also having the effect on the drug dissolution. Okay. If we talk, we can have enteric coated tablet, we can have sugar coated tablet, or we can have the film coated tablet. Okay. So, enteric coated tablet will take more time to get dissolved, okay, and as compared to the sugar coated, and sugar coated will take more time as compared to the film coated tablet. Okay. So, in case of enteric coating, there will be more time to get the absorbed, and sugar coated tablet will take more time to get absorbed as compared to the film coated tablet. Okay. Next is the suspending agent or the viscosity imparters. So, as the name indicates, suspending agent or viscosity imparter means the agents which provide the viscosity or the agent which are used to suspend the drug particles into the medium. Okay. So, these substances usually are the hydrophilic polymers, like the vegetable gums, for example, acacia, tragacanth or semi-synthetic gum, for example the carboxymethyl cellulose or methyl cellulose or synthetic gum can also be used. These agents will provide the viscosity and they will help in suspending the drug particle into the medium. Okay. They will prevent the settling of the drug particle into the medium. Next is the surfactant. Okay. So, surfactants are widely used in the formulation to impart the wetting properties. Okay. These are added in the formulation to increase the wetting between the drug and the medium. Okay. And this is how they can help in the dissolution. More will be the dissolution, more will be the absorption and more will be the bioavailability. Okay. Next is the buffers. Buffers are also sometimes very useful in creating the right atmosphere for a drug substance to get dissolved into the dissolution medium. Okay. Next is the complexing agent, colorants and precipitation or crystal growth inhibitors. Okay. So, these formulation factors like complexing agent that can form the complex with a agent and dissolution, their solubility can be enhanced. Sometimes a cyclodextrina molecule, if it is bound to a drug, then the solubility will be increased. If a drug is having more solubility, it will get dissolved at a faster rate and it will get absorbed at a faster rate. Okay. Next is the colorants. So, the water soluble dye, although they are incorporated in very less amount, but they can also affect the drug dissolution as well as the drug absorption. Last factor is the precipitation or crystal growth inhibitors. Okay. Sometimes if the free drug concentration is increased above the saturation level, then the drug can get precipitate out of the solution, and to prevent this precipitation, certain crystal growth inhibitors can be incorporated, for example PVP, HPMC, PEG or PVA. These crystal growth inhibitors can prevent the precipitation of the drug substance, okay, by increasing the viscosity of the medium. Okay. So, these are about the formulation factors that are affecting the drug dissolution. Now, next is the nature and type of dosage form. Now, as we all know, apart from the selection of the proper drug, the clinical success will also depend on the selection of proper dosage form also. Okay. So, the dissolution or the bioavailability will vary depending upon the dosage form. In case of solution, it will be more as compared to the emulsion. Okay. So, this is the order of decreasing bioavailability in the dosage form. In case of solution, we will be having the more bioavailability. So, emulsion is having less bioavailability as compared to the solution. Suspension is having less bioavailability as compared to the emulsion. So, this is the range of decrease in the bioavailability. Okay. So, out of these all dosage form, tablet will take more time to get absorbed. Okay. The solution will get because in this the drug is in the solution form, it will get absorbed at instant. Okay. Emulsion will take some time and suspension will take more time as compared to the emulsion. The powder, capsule and tablet will take more time to get absorbed as compared to the suspension. Okay. So, this is the effect of nature and type of the dosage form. Now, next is the patient related factors that can affect the drug dissolution. So, patient related factors include age, gastric emptying, intestinal transit, gastrointestinal pH, disease state, blood flow to the GIT, gastrointestinal content or contact time with the gastrointestinal mucosa, and last factor is the pre-systemic metabolism. Okay. So, the factors influencing the gastric emptying. Now, what do you mean by gastric emptying? It is the rate at which the gastric content is getting emptied into the intestine. Okay. So, more will be the gastric emptying, more will be the drug absorption. Okay. So, this gastric emptying is also affected by volume of meal, composition of meal, physical state and viscosity of the meal, temperature, GI pH, electrolytes and osmotic pressure, body posture, emotional state, exercise, and sometimes certain disease state. For example, cardiovascular disease or gastrointestinal disease can also affect the gastric emptying. Okay. And sometimes gastric pH is also affecting the parameters, disintegration, dissolution, absorption and stability. Because of the GI pH, sometimes disintegration can be delayed. If disintegration is delayed, the dissolution will be delayed and the absorption will ultimately delayed. Okay. And because of the GI pH, sometimes drugs can get degraded. Due to that, the drug absorption can also be affected. Now, the last parameter is the first pass effect or pre-systemic metabolism. Okay. When a drug is administered orally, then it has to pass through the GIT and it has to pass through the through some organs that can, and due to this passage there can be loss of drug. Okay. There can be loss of the effect. So, that effect is called as the first pass effect. Now, reasons for decrease in the bioavailability are, whenever we are administering a drug orally, then sometimes it can have the decreased bioavailability, and reasons behind this are the decreased absorption, destabilization or degradation of the drug, and third is the first pass effect or pre-systemic metabolism. Now, what do you mean by pre-systemic metabolism? See, the loss of drug through the biotransformation by the eliminating organ. What are these eliminating organs? GIT and the liver. Okay. Whenever it is passing to the systemic circulation. So, before reaching the systemic circulation, drug has to pass through the liver, through the GIT, and during this passage it can get metabolized, it can get biotransformed, due to which some part of the drug will be lost and we will obtain less bioavailability. So, this effect is called as the first pass or pre-systemic metabolism. Okay. So, in this first pass metabolism, we can have three primary systems that can affect this metabolism, and these are luminal enzyme, gut wall enzyme and hepatic enzyme. In case of luminal enzyme, we can have the bacterial enzyme that is affecting the first pass metabolism, or we can have the digestive enzyme also, okay, that are affecting the first pass metabolism. Okay. So, this is the diagram which is showing the first pass metabolism. Whenever we are taking a drug orally, then it has to pass through this lumen of the GI tract, and it can also enter into the liver, and because of this it can get metabolized, and after metabolism it will reach to the systemic circulation, means some part of the drug can get lost during this passage, and this effect is known as, or this metabolism is known as the first pass metabolism. Okay. So, these are the different sites where the first pass metabolism takes place. First reason behind this metabolism is the digestive enzymes. Okay. So, these digestive enzymes are present in the gut wall as well as in the intestinal and the pancreatic secretions. Okay. Sometimes hydrolase is present that can hydrolyze the ester drug like chloramphenicol, palmitate into the chloramphenicol, or peptidase enzyme can be there that can split the amide linkage and can inactivate the polypeptide drugs. Okay. So, this is the approach that can affect the oral absorption of the peptide drug. Next is the bacterial enzyme. See, the GI microflora is also is very rich in the stomach and the small intestine. So, this can also affect the drug dissolution as well as the absorption. Okay. Last one is the gut wall enzyme and the hepatic enzyme. So, gut wall enzyme are also known as the mucosal enzyme, and hepatic enzymes, because of these because of several drugs can undergo the first pass metabolism because of the enzymes present into the liver. Okay. So, this is all about the first pass metabolism. Thank you.